Hey folks, it's Mac, and yeah, it's that time of the week again to give you some of the fresh deals that we found. So this list features some of the best discounted games that you can grab right now until December 18th. Yeah, you actually have one whole week to decide to grab this sale or wait for another sale. And without further ado, let's get started. So let's start off this list with a pretty good deal on our favorite cooperative mining game, Deep Rock Galactic. Steam currently has it listed for up to $8.99 from its previous $30 price tag, a huge 70% discount. It's basically like Payday 2, but with more aliens and more rocks. This is truly co-op at its finest. Total mayhem, wacky weapons, and it's all wrapped up in some really slick UI. It nails the difficulty progression. It actually puts you through some challenges that require full cooperation. You can't just sort of work together. Total cooperation is necessary. The destructible environments always lead to interesting and unique of everyone runs, and the look and feel of the game is just odd and quirky. It's one of those games that gives off a lot of flavor and personality. It's not trying too hard, it's not aiming for anything in particular, which gives it a really natural vibe. This is one of the better multiplayer games for passing the time and enjoying some fun chaos and easy to grasp yet satisfying mining mechanics. I mean, no wonder people treat this one as a religion. Anyway, Deep Rock Galactic is also available on Xbox and PlayStation stores, so don't forget to check it from the game store if it's also discounted there. But PC players can grab this on Steam for just $8.99. Next up, Cult of the Lamb is also another must-experience indie hit, and it's currently $12.49 on Steam. That's 50% off of its regular price. This is a one-kind blend of roguelike action and base building. You play as a lamb resurrected by a mysterious being, and then you form a cult and gain loyal followers before descending into dungeons and take down rogue cult leaders. Pretty cool setup. It does a mix of fast-paced combat, dungeon crawling, and cult management. It's cute, it's creepy, it's got challenging battles, it's got exploring, upgrading, seeing your cult grow, and tons of advantages you can use to your advantage in the dungeon. It gets really addicting, and the art style is what really brings it together. Cult of the Lamb is not only available on PC, but also on consoles like PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. It should be on sale at the game store this week. This game is a delightful, dark, charming, yet very fun game to play, so we highly recommend it whether you're on PC or on consoles. Over at number 18, we have a new release. It's RV There Yet. It's currently available for just $7.19, which is a sweet 10% discount off the regular price. This is one of those titles where you and your friends are forced to take a rough alternate route after a relaxing vacation, and you've got to pilot your RV through the treacherous backcountry to find the exit. It's truly co-op at its finest, where you're working together to navigate obstacles using a physics-based winch, making sure one player earns the right to be the main commander. The gameplay is all about survival, managing resources like burgers and antidotes, while also making sure you help the driver complete the journey, maybe with a cold brewski or two. Use everything you find to keep your friendship and your RV intact as you explore the valley. This is one of the better games for passing the time and enjoying some fun chaos, especially since you've only got one map to master with up to 4 players. And now at number 17, if you're a fan of card-based roguelike games and have never played the legendary Slay the Spire, now on Steam, you can grab it for a jaw-dropping $6.24. That's just a massive 75% discount from its usual price. This allows you to combine the best aspects of card games and roguelike, creating a dynamic and ever-changing challenge. Choose a character and away you go. Customize a deck on the fly while traversing with enemies and collecting art and text-based choose-your-own-venture type of encounters. Decision-making is key, and the card-based combat requires a lot of skill and strategically exploit synergies. This was one of a game that basically popularized an entire genre, inspired a ton of copycats, and this is just one of those pick up and play, easy to play during lunch break or something, yet uniquely hardcore games. And with the upcoming sequel, now is really the perfect time to get familiar with the game. Now, speaking of kitchens and stressful and multitasking working together with friends, this also brings us to number 16. It's the same price as Slay the Spire, and it's actually Overcooked 2, blending fast-paced cooking chaos with hilarious cooperative gameplay. This one is also a great get at just $6.24. It's also 75% off, which is an absolute steal, considering how much content, replay value, and stress you get out of this game. If you don't know, Overcooked is you work with various shift members of your cooking staff and frantically produce food and dishes for needy customers. Successfully completing dishes nets you a good score. You don't want to drop ingredients or stuff or get things wrong because it slows things down. Now, as this game goes on, the kitchen layouts change and get crazier and crazier. There's rivers, conveyor belts, all kinds of different hazards, and it is just like pure co-op gameplay joy. You are definitely screaming at your friends a lot, things get heated, but it's really a blast. It's also just a well-made game. It's a really simple concept that is executed perfectly and works really well. If you love co-op games and you never tried this one for whatever reason, and you do want to kind of screw over your friendships with a lot of stress and yelling, pick this one up. Now we also have another deal at number 15, and it's actually the most universally beloved Far Cry game, Far Cry 3. It's now available for just $3.99, an impressive 80% discount from its standard price. Far Cry 3 really was the turning point for the series. It sent the recipe for every subsequent Far Cry game. But despite being used to this style of game now, Far Cry 3 still holds up. It's still an absolute favorite and is one of Ubisoft's best games ever released. The mission variety is solid, the orchestration of events is great, climbing the radio towers is still pretty fun. Voss is considered the smash-it-out-of-the-park bad guy that inspired Ubisoft to repeat this formula over and over again, and it successfully satisfies almost every playstyle. I'll praise the story too. It's an interesting take on not where you think you would go, we'll leave it at that. Look, the gameplay loop is incredible, and for that price point, you can't go wrong. It's fun, it's thoughtful, it's the best Far Cry of the bunch really at this point, a classic. But to anybody else, number 14, we're not done with the Far Cry franchise, because Far Cry 5 is also massively discounted at just $8.99 on Steam. That's a giant 85% off. Released in March 2018, Far Cry 5 gives the players open-world chaos on the fictional Hope County, Montana, where players are tasked with dismantling a dangerous cult led by Joseph Seed. The game offers a really big explorable world, endless opportunities, emergent things, and it also does introduce a new gun for hire and a buddy system where animals and characters assist you, and honestly, a lot of them were pretty charming and fun. The world was really cool. It wasn't a different country or an exotic island. It grounded things a little bit more in the United States, and that was nice. The gameplay tends to balance structured things, chaotic shooting, and the mayhem that the series is known for, along with new fishing mechanics. It's just a fun game, man. So yeah, pick it up alongside Far Cry 3. Now next at number 13, BioShock Infinite. Yeah, one of the most beloved, debated, complicated yet beautiful games is down $7.49 on Steam. That's a quarter of the price, 75% discount. BioShock Infinite is a narrative-driven shooter set in a floating city rather than an underwater one like the previous games. It gives you crazy American Patriot imagery next to some crazy shooter gameplay. Now you still get a taste of that classic BioShock atmosphere and really feel like conflicts and great character moments. Columbia is a floating marvel of a city, and exploring it is a joy, especially along with the companion Elizabeth, who I think is one of the better elements of the game. BioShock Infinite blends fast-paced combat with a compelling story. It looks nice to this day, the art direction is incredible, but thankfully the PC version is incredibly forgiving, so you can run it on like pretty much any potato PC at this point. Now moving on at number 12, DREDGE, which was released in March 2023, is a fishing adventure game with a kind of eerie, melancholic, spooky vibe, and you can get it for just $9.99 on Steam, which is now 60% off, making it one of our favorite indie games of 2023, drawing in players with its unique blend of fishing mechanics and a strange, mysterious atmosphere. Players assume the role of a fisherman and explore various waters. They'll catch fish, encounter strange occurrences, and upgrade their magical boats to venture into deeper and more treacherous areas alone for more danger. The gameplay balances relaxing fishing mechanics with an increasingly dark and intriguing narrative, just a general sense of mood that is hard to shake. I really can't overstate how much I love this game, and the development of Black Salt Games really successfully created a game that's as haunting as it is engaging. Now over at number 11, Chivalry 2 is currently available for just $7.99, which is 80% off on Steam. If you're not familiar with it, Chivalry 2 is a first-person medieval multiplayer slasher inspired by epic battles from movies and shows. It's chaotic hack and slash, wacky warfare, lots of armored men kicking and screaming, rolling around, body parts flying. It can be competitive, it can be emergent and really fun, or it can just be silly. Sometimes players are convinced that taking a roast pig as a weapon is better than a sword. You catch my drift. Anyway, the game supports up to 64 players in large-scale battles involving siege engines, cavalry charges, and brutal melee combat. And the focus here is really on skill-based combat. It actually takes a lot of practice. It's not just about brute force, it's about timing and technique, and sometimes a real bit of strategical coordination, of course. It's extremely fun, and it's even more satisfying when it works, and especially at this price point, it is worth trying. And if you ask me, given that it's a multiplayer game, well, I think it's still worth buying, given that it's still getting thousands of players every day. Now next, down at number 10, we have Blasphemous 2. It's now just $9.89 on Steam, a 67% discount. For anybody who's looking for some Metroid action, this should be your pick. This is a dark and atmospheric side-scrolling sequel to the acclaimed Blasphemous, continuing the saga with even more brutal combat, really insane, grotesque, creative Scourge environments, and exploring all these religious themes in a way that only Blasphemous does, in a way that only this game can pull off. Still, if you have to only get one, I'm gonna recommend this one because it's worth the price. The price is right, and the game content is right. There's a lot of it here. I mean, just look at the art style, man. Now, the base game is set in the Shrine's Penitence Returns, and there is a new DLC pack that's also on sale if that's what you're into. Either way, this game offers a challenging and immersive experience start to finish, but also rewarding for fans of the genre and storytelling. Once again, seriously, get this one if you love this kind of genre. Next at number 9, Sunhaven. It's currently available for just $7.49. That's a generous 70% discount, and it's basically a fantasy farming sim that combines elements of Stardew Valley with magical adventure. This game allows you to either play alone or with friends, cultivating your farmland, building relationships with townsfolk, exploring a vibrant world full of different creatures and quirks. And it features multiple playable races and a deep crafting system and combat and enchanting environment. It really provides a customizable experience, catering to both casual players and those seeking a bit more adventure in their sim, which is why it's nice. It blends multiple different types of game making into one, and it does it well. It's one of those games that successfully combines the charm of farm management with the excitement of exploration and the RPG progression of dungeon crawling. And of course, it's all about giving players a rich and magical and pretty joyful world to immerse themselves in. Our team also freaking loves this game and won't stop telling me to play it. So here you go. Here's your shout out. Now at number 8, The Escapists 2. The sequel to the hit prison escape sim is currently available for only $3.99 on Steam. That's a massive 80% off. This game challenges players to use a combination of strategic planning, resource management, and the ability to just think on the fly to successfully break out of increasingly complex prisons. Each prison environment requires careful observation and creativity to do the escape plans. You have to adapt all your things by daily routines, schedules, guards, and everything. This sequel features revamped mechanics. It has a variety of tools and disguises, a crafting system that's more expanded, and even some additional multiplayer modes for a more intense experience than the first game, a game that tons of people really love. And if you enjoyed it, you should consider trying this one. Next up, we have Another Crab's Treasure. This one is a pretty cool, interesting blend of Souls-like challenging combat and quirky underwater adventure. It's a 3D third-person game actually inspired by Dark Souls, but it managed to do things both hardcore and pretty. That's why this game is a weird balance between being approachable and joyfully fun to play, while at the same time it has a certain level of skill ceiling that adds another layer of strategy for anyone, especially for anybody who does get past the learning curve. So this game follows a crab, a crustacean named a krill, who uses various pieces of trash as armor and weapons while battling the forces of capitalism that pollute the ocean. Yes, it's very silly, it's over the top, but it is goofy fun, and it's also a little charming at the same time. And just look at this gameplay, it looks pretty fun. But if you're interested to get this one, Another Crab's Treasure is available for just $14.99. Coming in next, Killing Floor 2 is currently a steal at only $2.99 on Steam. This cooperative first-person shooter, which is developed by Tripwire, immerses players in waves of chaos, zombie chaos. It's got tons of weapons, blood, and sparks flying everywhere, teaming up with friends or strangers in 6-player co-op mode to tackle just tons of varied zombies, or Zeds as they're called. You can choose from different perks that offer unique abilities, fighting off waves of enemy hordes, and earning dosh to buy more powerful weapons and gear between rounds from the trader. There are different Zed types, there are different maps, different strategies are required to stay alive and ultimately win. The game also includes a PvP mode where players can control Zeds, just as an extra spin, a little bit more fun on things. It's all wrapped up in a pretty fun, old-school style FPS game. You know, it's got a goofy sense of humor, over-the-top gore, crazy grindhouse stuff. It really appeals to people who really love this kind of stuff. And like I said, for just a couple of bucks, it's a good deal. Now next, over at number 5, we have Still Wakes the Deep, which is available now for just $8.74, which is 75% off. This is a first-person horror narrative game set on a decaying oil rig. I wouldn't really call it a walking sim, it is a little more involved, but it's really, really good. It's made by the Chinese Room. They made Amnesia and Dear Esther, so I'd say this one's actually a little bit more gameplay heavy than their usual stuff, but it's still very much a big, creepy bedtime story. The atmospheric tension in their typical quality is felt throughout the entire game. You're a worker who has to survive supernatural and environmental threats on an isolated North Sea platform. The storytelling and immersive environments are really great in what this goes for, and it does it well. It's a lengthy, satisfying, scary game at a good price if you're into that sort of thing. Next, at number 4, Watch Dogs Legion is now just $5.99, which is 90% off. This third installment actually shifts the focus to a near-future London, where you can actually control multiple characters and citizens, each with unique skills to resist oppressive authorities and criminal syndicates. The reason why I describe it that way is because instead of a traditional protagonist, you basically have the freedom to recruit different citizens from across the city and utilize their abilities as the play Blabber, all part of the hacker organization DedSec, just trying to take back control. It's kind of an interesting gimmick. Look, it wasn't everyone's favorite Watch Dogs game. Some people thought it was a step down from 2. Still, the hacking mechanics are fun. The open world exploration aspect and all the mini games are enjoyable, and it is still an overall enjoyable game, especially at this super cheap price point. Now, down over at number 3, it's probably not the best Crew game. I think the original is probably slightly more preferred, but still, The Crew 2, released back in 2018, is now just $5.99, which is 80% off. Again, not the best Crew game, but it's also not really trying to compete with the critical darling that was the first one. It's a little bit different. However, it does offer a really diverse range of vehicles, and you can explore an open-world USA on land, sea, or air. The old saying here is that the world really kind of fell off in terms of what the Crew delivered. What we get here is not quite what was in the first Crew game, but the driving happens to be a lot more shallow, and yeah, as I said, the vehicle variety is a lot more wide, given that you can drive on the road, drive off the road, or fly off the terrain entirely in an airplane or a boat. It definitely adds a little bit of spice that keeps the basic gameplay loop a lot more interesting. Now, next over at number 2, Darkest Dungeon 2, a sequel to the acclaimed, oppressive, challenging, and really depressing roguelike adventure game, is currently available for $18.98. That's 63% off. In this one, you're basically embarking on a road trip of the damned by this roguelike turn-based road trip of the damned. It's got psychological stress, it's a management mechanic, it's got enhanced combat mechanics that offer a lot more depth and challenge compared to the original. You basically have to assemble a party of beleaguered heroes and journey on a grotesque route through ruined landscapes, encountering various abominations and, of course, deranged fiends. With procedurally generated scenarios and consequences to every decision, managing both the team's skills and mental well-being is crucial, and that's what makes it very unique. Basically, its unforgiving and strategic gameplay is the reason why people love it. If you've never played it, you might actually get hooked on this sort of stuff. And finally, at number 1, we have Dead Cells. Currently, this is just $12.49 now. It's 50% off, and it's a pixel-perfect blend of roguelike progression and Metroidvania exploration, offering fast-paced combat, a procedurally generated environment, and challenging bosses. It's a game that leads to addictive replayability and constant experimentation for its unique weapon abilities. Honestly, Dead Cells is incredible. It's like the best Metroidvania roguelike mashup. You get both the open world and the replayability to constantly change the open world things and make it so it doesn't get stale. There's so much replay value, and on the other side of things, the controls are just good. This is probably some of the best controlling 2D game combat I have ever played. The movement is fast and smooth, the game feels alive and agile, the soundtrack is great, and the enemy design and boss design are also fantastic. This really does just have everything. It's an incredible game, and it's one I think you probably owe it to yourself to play if you even have a mild interest in a 2D platformer. And even though the discount is lower than the games on this list, 50% is still a good deal. But with that, those are 20 of the best deals or discounted games you can get right now until December 18th. And each one of these games has its own charm and its own gameplay value. If you liked this video, click like. We upload game sale videos every Thursday, so if you want to get more videos like this, then make sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell. But anyway, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.